What's up, everybody? Thanks for stopping by the Professor Feather Project channel. Welcome back. If you've been here before, thank you for joining me. If you're here for the first time, so I'm just gonna think out loud here. So, I'm sure everyone watching this doesn't need to be reminded of 2020, but I don't know if this was just my experience or not. But let me know if you have a similar opinion or similar circumstances. But like 2020, it was weird. It was strange. It was a little stressful, but it was actually like kind of a good year for me in a lot of ways. Like I had I had moved not far, still in just the other end of town. And so I had moved, that had occurred just before the lockdowns. And it was cool. It was just like there was the excitement of like a new place, a new area. I mean, new area, stuff like that. Unpacking, getting everything settled. Um, we were working like every other week at work. So it was like, oh, well, I'd have a week off. I'd, work on stuff, projects, get settled, stuff like that. But the really interesting thing was I really started to like, I was able to spend more time like kind of just chilling, and a lot more time I was able to dedicate to the things that I really like, which was like um I had been running for years, but like 2020 was a breakthrough year for my running. Like between having the extra time and then having more area to explore, and where I'm at, I use the term hills very loosely, but there are slight elevation changes in this area as opposed to where I had moved from, where there was no elevation change no matter which way you went. It was completely like flat out there. So had a really good year with running, like a remarkable year. And my strength and conditioning was going good. I was training like probably running 3 or 4 days a week. And that's probably strength and conditioning training 5 or 6. So that went really well. Things were going good. And then yeah, so all sorts of good stuff went on. And here's what happened. Like within a couple weeks into the following year, 2021, uh like that's when like the downward spiral started. That was a weird year. I don't know, dude. It was strange. It was bad. Not just strange. It was bad. Like I wasn't I like all of a sudden, like I wasn't training right. I wasn't able to train consistently. My running fell off pretty good. Um, you combine that with like now it's the Rona. We got the Rona going on, and now it's like, of course, it's after the holidays. Everything's settled. Everyone's got that kind of after the holidays seasonal depression action going on, and it was always a little bit seasonal when I was at work. Those were always like the slow months, so I was like kind of cold, not a whole lot to do, no work to do. I mean, by this point, I mean, we were only on, by this point, um, things that were somewhat normal, like everyone had been working along a regular schedule for a while, since the summer almost. So, I don't know, and then just some weird stuff started happening in my personal life, and that kind of added to the stress and the psychological stuff. And that led to that led to that led to a series of poor choices, hasty choices made out of desperation. Anyway, so I don't know, for most people they think 2020 was bad, but I think 2021 was bad. I don't know. Let me know, what about your experience in the comments below. Thanks for sticking around to the end. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever. We appreciate having you here at the Professor Feather Project channel. Till next time.